What is up, guys? Dashing here. We are live for Shockwave number 150 for this fine Saturday evening. And it just got so much more fun because look at this. We are getting things started with Nathan White, joined by his new best buddy, Brian Dynamic, as he will be taking on Mike Magnum Maxwell to get the action started here on Shockwave number 154. Big ol' episode we've got. Some great matches to look forward to. See, people call me biased, but I can give Adam Valentine credit where it's due. And what a main event. Cam Harris of the Second Estate, one-on-one with the men's Royal Rumble match winner, Schmidty, who of course we now know it is official, pen to paper. He's made his choice, and it will be Blake Virtue that he faces at Validation in Los Angeles for the CMV Championship. But when it comes to the Anarchy Championship, my friends, well, Mike Magnum Maxwell, along with the two men that are going to be in his corner for this matchup here, next Shockwave, a unique opportunity, as Adam Valentine put it, and I would agree because, well, it's going to be Joey Bacon's turmoil, if you will. He must defend the Anarchy Championship, guys, against Diamante, Mike Magnum Maxwell, and Tobias Jones in a gauntlet turmoil match. Now, the rules laid out by Adam Valentine states that if Joey Bacon eliminates any of these guys from the turmoil, if you don't know how a gauntlet turmoil works, first of all, one will start against Joey Bacon. If he can eliminate them, the other will enter. If he can eliminate them, the last will enter. If he can eliminate all three of them, well, he walks out still the Anarchy Champion, and whomever he is able to eliminate, they will not be able to challenge for the Anarchy Championship again so long as Joey Bacon is still the champion. And as Valentine also pointed out, it could be the case that, let's say, for example, I don't know, Diamante is first out. He's unlucky enough because it is going to be randomized. He's out first. He manages to defeat Joey Bacon and become the Anarchy Champion. Well, we won't end up seeing Mike Magnum Maxwell or Tobias Jones in action at all. Joey Bacon has managed to defeat the three of them one-on-one over the last couple of months. But can he defeat all three of them in one night and retain that Anarchy Championship? But above all else, Valentine said, look, I know you guys are focused on this Anarchy Championship, but I want you to be on Team Shockwave. I need my team to be cohesive heading into Validation. Saying that he wants all three of them, Diamante, Mike Magnum Maxwell, and Tobias Jones, to be a part of the team he's putting together, but also Joey Bacon. And look, Valentine's no idiot. If I had Joey Bacon on my show, he would have been my first pick to be on Team Octane, okay? Of course Joey Bacon is going to be representing Shockwave. You have to be an idiot not to put him on your team, right? That's a first-round pick right there. As things get started between Nathan White and Mike Magnum Maxwell. Of course, last Shockwave Trios match we actually saw as Nathan White, Brian Dynamic, and Joey Bacon were able to knock off the team of Diamante, Maxwell, and Tobias Jones. Although it was mostly, right, let's be honest, it was 90% Joey Bacon, and then I'd say 9% Brian Dynamic and 1% Nathan White. He pretty much came in and got the pin in the end, but he didn't stop him from bragging about it all week long, that's for sure. Hell of a way to follow up if he can knock off Maxwell here. Gets sent down to ringside at the feet of his friends, quote-unquote, Diamante and Tobias Jones. Back into the ring now, and from behind, Nathan White got the arm of Maxwell trapped there, but still able to escape. Well done. And in case you missed it, guys, the battle plans have been laid out for Validation. It's going to be 10 on 10 across 3 different matchups. It'll kick off at Validation with a 4-on-4 elimination tag team matchup. Then a trios, tables, ladders, and chairs match. And finally, a trios Hell in a Cell match. And it's not best of 3. Obviously, whoever does get the most wins earns 10 draft picks uninterrupted. As yes, indeed, we still got to get into that. The fact that, well, myself and Adam Valentine came to an agreement. The very foundation of CMV going to be shook up post-validation. Not just the men, but the women will be divided. A new era, a fresh start. The CMV draft returns. And, well, the caveat here is that if either Team Octane or Team Shockwave can pull off a clean sweep, well, they'll get an additional 5 uninterrupted draft picks. That's huge. 15 draft picks. I mean, again, if we can keep it a buck here, Team Octane is going to sweep. That's just a matter of fact. Hopefully, Shockwave brings just a little bit of a fight. As Maxwell tries to finish off Nathan White here, but unable to do so off that corkscrew neck breaker. Takes a step back now. Oh, what a reversal. That was a thing of beauty. I think Maxwell was going for that big old stomp of his, but White turned it into a sit-out powerbomb, and then there's the super kick, 2. 1, 2, as Dynamic just tries to make himself somewhat useful. He's taking off that top turnbuckle cover, while Diamante and Tobias Jones watch on from the corner of Maxwell here. Oh, but it comes back to bite him. Taking his the lead of Owen O'Rourke from last episode of Octane, right? Really screwed over Roderick Devaney. Well, nearly. The referee is fixing that top turnbuckle now, though, as Maxwell attempting to get back in the driver's seat. Ooh, did you hear the pop of Nathan White's neck? And now coming out of that corner with a double boot stomp right to the back of the head. Tucks in the arm and all hooks the leg. Maxwell to get the dub. Momentum heading into Bacon's turmoil next Shockwave, and of course Validation. And Shockwave team captain Morgan shared a very intense, seemingly eternal stare down with Octane's team captain Ahmed during that meeting I had with Valentine. But I'll say it again, Adam Valentine's putting together quite a team. I don't deny that. It's just not going to be enough. Have you seen the team I'm putting together over on Octane? Be real. Meteor from Maxwell, as again you see him tuck the arm for the pin, but still kicks out this Nathan White. We're going to find out who. Ooh, nice catch there. La Maestro! Oh my God, the Lucha Kings, perhaps the trading, right? Nathan White's been having trouble even saying that word over the last couple of weeks. Brian Dynamic's been trying to convince him to get into the Performance Center. But look at that La Maestro. That was incredible form. Kick there for Maxwell. Gets a 2 count only. As I was about to say, that we'll find out who another member of Team Shockwave will be later on. It's a qualifier between Andrew Briggs and Jeremy Barmore. There's Valentine continuing to make legends and Hall of Famers qualify for his team. And now Brian Dynamic gets directly involved, but Maxwell might have been a trap. Lure him in there. Able to reverse the wheel kick attempt, though. Now you see Maxwell retreat out onto the apron. Nathan White's not going to give him that reprieve, though. And a guillotine. Knocking Mike Magnum Maxwell down to the floor as Nathan White takes a moment to appreciate his handiwork. So Diamante Tobias Jones not doing very much to attempt to cancel out Brian Dynamic over there, who's pretty much had free will to do whatever he wants, interfering in this matchup over and over again. But if I'm Diamante Tobias Jones, I'm not lifting a finger to help out. I mean, you want Maxwell to head into that gauntlet turbo next Shockwave as, run down as possible. Here's Dynamic again, and that allows White to get back into the ring. Off the ropes. Beautiful sleeper slam. Diamante and Tobias Jones looked like they were about to pounce on White for a second there on ringside, but they showed some restraint. Beautiful fireman's carry takeover. Maxwell, the most recent of the trio, who challenged Joey Baker for the Anarchy Championship just a couple of weeks ago. And he came oh so close, but again, it might end up being that Mike Maxwell never even competes next Shockwave. If Diamante or Tobias Jones beat him to the punch. It all depends on the order of entry, right? And if they could finally topple Big Ham. Grabbed by arm, by leg, dragged out towards the middle of the ring here. And Nathan White's unwilling to stay down. Irish whip off the ropes. Going to try to stomp again, and this time Nathan White unable to avoid it. 1, 2, but he does kick out of it. Brian Dynamic talking a little bit of trash to these fans in the front row who I guess are behind Maxwell. He's telling them to shut the hell up. They're making fun of his sideburns again. I love the sideburns for one. Ooh, tripped up there. Can Maxwell recover in time? Nathan White's all over him here. Sharp elbows to the top of the head. Pulled up to his feet. And scooped up. But a reversal so fast as Mike Magnum Maxwell takes him down with that reverse DDT. And now look, hyped up as he waits for White. Another stop! That one turned Nathan White inside out. Yeah, I think you can count to 1,000 on that one. Mike Magnum Maxwell picks up the win. Might have to get somebody to check on Nathan White. I think he just got blasted into another dimension there. The victory and, more importantly, momentum for Maxwell heading into that gauntlet turmoil next Shockwave. But again, will he even end up competing? Or will Bacon maybe end up squashing the three of them in one night, making sure they could never challenge for his Anarchy Championship again? We'll find out next Shockwave, but at least for now, Maxwell with an impressive performance here to kick off Shockwave number 154. Although, very nice showing for Nathan White as well. Are we looking at the next Anarchy champion in Mike Magnum Maxwell, or perhaps in Diamante? Maybe Tobias Jones? Maybe none of them. And as we talked just a moment ago, guys, about the draft returning to CMV post-validation for the first time ever, the women's division being split when it comes to the Women's World Championship. Well, I mean, obviously, you have to imagine. Well, look at this. Speaking of, this is the debut, guys, of Delilah Sin, but imagine making your debut and you've got the Women's World Champion accompanying you to the ring? Well, of course, Delilah Sin is set to take on Ruby Rattell here. And Alice Blake, I guess, wants to get herself a front row seat. Unsurprisingly, of course, at Validation, it's going to be Ruby Rattel, the Women's Royal Rumble match winner, challenging Alice Blake for the Women's World Championship. As I was saying, though, whomever is Women's World Champion, whomever, come on. Look, I'm a Ruby Rattel fan, but this is the historic reign in CMV history. And Alice Blake, as the Women's World Champion, is going to be sought after by myself, by Adam Valentine when it comes to that draft. You have to think she's going to be number one for me. I'll tell you right now, I'll spoil it. If I get the number one draft pick, it's Alice Blake, okay? Spoiler alert here, folks. Or maybe, just maybe, it will be Ruby Rattel, who's coming out here alone because, well, at least one of her Uncut Gems sisters, Alexia Diamond, guys, was taken out by Vanessa Morgan this past Octane. After a pretty great matchup, it turned out to be between Alexia Diamond and Alice Blake. Blake picking up the win while Morgan hit the ring after, nearly put Diamond through the canvas with that sickening chokeslam. And, well, Diamond is going to be out of action, I've been told, for at least a couple of weeks. So Pats LaFaves are already at work trying to ensure that the Kick Connoisseur walks into Validation with as much of an upper hand as possible, throwing out gang signs here. Ruby Rattel. But here we go, guys. This is the debut of Delilah Sin and Alice Blake in her corner as she's going to take on Ruby Rattel, who's got herself some new digs. That Royal Rumble victory money, I guess, paying off here. Well, Rattel is a former Women's World Champion, and guys, she never lost the championship. It's going on about it for years at this point, but it is true. She was attacked, injured, and forced to vacate and never got a one-on-one rematch for the championship. Well, she got through 29 other women at Mob Violence and earned the opportunity. She will face Alice Blake in Los Angeles for the Women's World Championship, and can she potentially be the one to end this unparalleled reign of Alice Blake? The longest reigning champion in CMV history, most defending champion in CMV history. Or will Rattel just end up being another number? Another name on a long list? I believe it will be. Look, now I'm starting to forget. There's so many successful defenses. I think it's going to be 13. Alice Blake's 13th defense? At Validation could be 14. I'm going to have to double check that. That's just what happens, though, when you're so unbelievably dominant for almost a year. What is it? It's got to be just a matter of a couple of weeks at this point, right? Where's our statistician in the chat? Blake, I do believe, is creeping ever so closely to a full year as Women's World Champion. I do think it's just a couple of weeks. Yeah, March 23rd, so a few weeks, not a couple. But if she is able to defeat Ruby Rattel at Validation, then it'll be pretty much a sure thing. Because by the time we get to Bloodsport, which will be our next special event after Validation, it'll surely be either right around March 23rd or more than likely after. So if Alice Blake can get through Rattel at Validation, she'll have that lock on one entire year as Women's World Champion. Look at Ruby Rattel coming out of the corner. And again, Alice Blake really giving a little bit of a nod to Delilah Sin by being in her corner for this matchup. And I like to see it from Sin so far, but Ruby Rattel takes her out with that somersault cutter to the end of Sin right here, who I just noticed is wearing high heels. I don't know if that's technically legal for a matchup, but I guess we'll have to... Oh, wait a minute! Ruby Rattel with her own variation of sunny side down and into the pin. We'll have to check the precedent set by Schmidty's lawsuit against Bison regarding his horns. Delilah Sin with a springboard. Coffin drop. I mean, look out, debuting with the Women's World Champion. Watching on. Defeating a former Women's World Champion. Women's Royal Rumble match winner. That'll be a gargantuan notch in the belt of Sin if she can get it done here. I gotta tell you, Rattel not looking too good. We've seen ever since Mom Violence, Ruby Rattel's been pretty open about it. Her insecurities that she doesn't feel like she deserved to win the Rumble. It's kind of been in her own head. The other Jeb's been trying to talk her out of it, saying she does deserve it. I would agree. I'd say long overdue, as a matter of fact. But now Alexia Diamond's been taken out of action thanks to Vanessa Morgan. I mean, Rattel's mind is all over the place, and Delilah Sin is hoping to capitalize on that while Alice Blake just watches on gleefully. Oh, big forearm to the gut. Didn't really seem to have much of an effect. And it's definitely going to be a new chapter, though, here in CMV, guys. And the very first time ever this women's division of ours is split. And Shockwave and Octane will have their own women's divisions. And, it's either going to be Ruby Rattel or Alice Blake leading one of them as Women's World Champion. Octane. Yeah, Ruby Rattel almost got herself counted out right there, by the way. Doing a little bit too much pandering. But now going to take Delilah Sin into the corner. Jacking that jaw. And off the ropes. Boom! A boot. That just busted Delilah Sin open. Welcome to CMV. But now as Ruby Rattel journeys to the corner, Alice Blake distracting the Women's Royal Rumble match winner. And Sin able to take an advantage. Blake, I guess, not out here just to observe. Uh-oh. Well, Blake better watch out now. The fight's coming right up to her. Back at ringside. As Rattel attempts to stay focused. And how can she? Oh, kick to the back of the head. I think Sin might be wondering what country she's in right about now after having her bell rung like that. Ruby Rattel's not giving in either. Even making Alice Blake cringe as she watches on. Oh, wait a minute. Where are we going? Back into the ring. Gonna stop this one from ending in a count out. Blake trying to hype up Delilah Sin here. As Ruby Rattel with an Irish whipper to the corner. Right in front of Alice. Ooh, and Sin is not just bleeding, man. She bleeded. Oh, quick pin. Crucifix pin. What a steal this would be, but a kick out at 2. Oh, back to ringside again. Just can't help themselves. Shoulder breaker on the former Women's World Champion, but a message needs to be sent to Alice Blake, and Ruby Rattel is keen on sending it. Here comes Rattel out of the corner. Big lariat. Delilah staring up at them lights. Saying, hang on, is this my CMV debut? Where am I again? Wakes, oh no! That rolling cacao kick. I don't know how Ruby Rattel was just able to kick out of that, especially again wearing those heels, Delilah Sin. That was sickening. Rattel gonna try to power through, take back control, attacking the lower back, and no beating around the bush anymore. Ruby Rattel gonna spin her around for again. That sunny side down, gonna unpretty her. Delilah Sin to taste defeat in her CMV debut, 2.999. A third! Ruby Rattel cannot be stopped! And Ruby Rattel picks up the win! Alice Blake can't even watch. What a matchup! And very impressive was Delilah Sin, but Ruby Rattel just kind of kicked it up into unforeseen gear there toward the end. The last few minutes, really after Alice Blake got involved directly, Rattel kind of flipped the switch. And maybe Alice Blake realizing that Ruby Rattel might just be that one, her toughest challenge yet, and not to be underestimated. Not once, not twice, but thrice. And Delilah Sin, I hate to say it, she might be a bit more unpretty after Ruby Rattel got through with her here. Look at her face is gushing blood. Ruby Rattel, the best I think we've seen her in a very long time. Time to get out of your own head, Ruby. Validation around the corner. And are we looking at the one who can defeat Alice Blake? Well, quite apropos, my friends, because from the Women's World Champion Alice Blake, we go to her lover. Up next, it's not Emmett Jones, by the way, but taking on Aaron Stone. And looking to go 3-4-3 is the former Farmer boy here, guys. But, well, this is for all the marbles. Yes, Emmett Jones has defeated Aaron Stone not once, but twice over the last couple months. More recently at Attack in Australia, where, of course, little caveat in the contract they signed said that if Emmett Jones won that match, she would become the sole leader of the regulators. And like, you ask the rest of the regulators, you ask the fans, they'd probably tell you Emmett Jones has been a very good leader. I would disagree personally, but Emmett is looking to show just how good of a leader he is right here this evening on Shockwave number 154, because this is not only for Emmett Jones to retain leadership of the regulars, but it's also for a spot on Team Shockwave. See, earlier this week, Morgan, the team captain for Shockwave, approached Aaron Stone. They have a long history, as we all well know, and asked for Aaron Stone to be on Team Shockwave, and Emmett overheard that. He was having none of it, saying, did you not see that I beat Aaron Stone twice? But Morgan kind of, it wasn't interested. Emmett made the challenge right then and there. Look, you put up your spot on Team Shockwave, I'll put up leadership of the regulars, and we end this once and for all. So Aaron Stone has agreed. The winner of this matchup becomes leader of the regulars and will represent Shockwave at Validation. So can indeed Emmett Jones say that he beat the three-time global champion 3 times? Or will Aaron Stone open up a can of whoop-ass on his former best friend and finally get the better of him when it matters most? Right here, right now. And Emmett Jones is essentially the leader of nothing. Because the rest of the regulars, even his own girlfriend, Sophia E. Faith, is kind of taking a step back. Like, what are you doing? What has gotten into you? Oh, big knee from Aaron Stone. Can't contain himself. These two have been trying to kill each other ever since the ruler of the Ring of Honor, where Emmett Jones stabbed Aaron Stone in the back, struck out on his own. I've said it, and I'll say it again. One of the best movies made of his CMV career, but big running power slam. And into the pin, gonna try to end it real early, embarrass Emmett Jones. Aaron Stone going to try to take back leadership of the regulars, repair what has been so badly damaged over these last couple months. Not even just because of what Emmett Jones and Aaron Stone have been doing with each other, but just overall, it's not been the best time for the regulators across the board these last few months. Outside of Thea, really, who's been doing very well as television champion, and in fact, still to come a little bit later on, Sarah Miller, Thea one-on-one. Oh, we're going to clean break here. Yeah, oh, Aaron Stone with a cheap shot. Like I said, the anger's just boiling over here at this point, and you can't really blame Stone, but he better be careful because this is a straight-up one-on-one matchup. So if they get themselves disqualified, up in smoke is that leadership role for the regulars and the spot on Team Shockwave at Validation. And Emmett, despite being the smaller man, don't let that fool you. Unbelievably powerful. But Stone might just be the most pound-for-pound powerful man in all of CMV. I mean, he is the wrestling pretty boy, but he's also the protein-packed powerhouse. And he's got a rear naked choke cinch that I'm at right now. Able to escape that with a couple of well-placed elbows. And now to the ropes. I mean, when your own girlfriend looks at you and says, you know, cut it out, like you're tearing us apart, you're a headbutt to the back of the thigh. Now, I can confidently say I've never seen that before. Interesting tactic by Aaron Stone, as I was saying. I think Emmett has been doing beautifully, but I digress. Aaron Stone showing that as big as he is, he can be agile too, able to roll out of the way like that. And again, that strength put on display as Emmett's going to roll to the outside. Again, careful because countouts are in effect here. And these two are Octane Tag Team Champions together. They were Trios Champions together. And Emmett Jones decided that he was being pushed to the side. He wasn't given enough respect. These two co-leading the regulators, he said, it's time for me to take the wheel. And you can't really sneeze at it. I mean, again, he's beaten Aaron Stone twice. Clean! Clean both times. No shenanigans. Straight up. Oh, big punch. As Emmett Jones begins to take... Oh, well, speaking of, there is Emmett's girlfriend, Sophia E. Faith, who appears to be in one piece here this evening. But Aaron from behind. Sophia coming out to try to talk some sense in Emmett Jones. This is not the time. And Aaron Stone has just pinned Emmett Jones off the distraction from Faith. Are you kidding me? Aaron Stone is once again the leader of the regulators and will now officially be a part of Team Shockwave at Validation. I can't believe this. That's horseshit. Pardon my French here, Thea. Sophia E. Faith taking the initiative to put the regulars back together herself, helping out Aaron Stone to win this match. And maybe the regulators aren't dead yet. Emmett might have to set up a Tinder account, though. Unbelievable. Look, Emmett, buddy, I know you're probably going through some things right now, a lot of emotions, but hit me up after the show, okay? I'll get you set up. Don't even worry about it. Who needs a girl like Sophia E. Faith? I got plenty of baddies I can introduce you to, all right? We can go out on my yacht. Declan Weiss, he's throwing a party tonight. Don't even fret, my friend. Plenty more fish in the sea. Unless they've all been caught by this man, of course, because coming up next, Big Texas in action as he'll go one-on-one with the debuting Ash. And of course, he made his own Shockwave debut last Shockwave with an impressive win against Pete Jones. And it was after that matchup that Pete Jones tried to be sportsmanlike, offered a handshake to Big Texas, even in defeat. But Texas wanted none of it, slapped his hand away, spit on his boots, said, "Get that shit out of here, son." Not interested. It kind of sent Pete Jones over the edge. He had a little bit of a meltdown, just a tiny one, and vowed that Big Texas was going to pay for disrespecting him. But Big Texas has got some bigger problems to worry about here this evening, as he's taking on the debuting Ash. Many new faces post mob violence and heading into the draft after validation. Maybe Ash better not get too comfortable here on Shockwave. I might want him over on Octane. I like the look of this guy. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, though. We'll see how the match goes. And what a feat it would be, climbing Mount Everest, forget about it. Curing cancer, nothing compared to defeating the likes of Big Texas. I mean, the top of Ash's accolades, if he can do it, right here on Shockwave number 154. So here we go, Big Texas Ash, one-on-one. Texas looking to get a little bit of an undefeated streak going at the expense of the debuting Ash here, trying to come out of the corner early on with a moonsault attempt, but no good as his stomach gets some repeated kicks to the face. Not much that I can tell you about this Ash, but as I often say, we'll learn everything we need to know about him as this matchup progresses. I can certainly tell he's got a lot of energy as he goes up to the top rope. I mean, it's impressive that Big Texas can compete in a pair of blue jeans. All right, who else could do that? And them snakeskin boots. Of course, we found out, or I guess I should say Pete Jones found out last Shockwave, that those boots are steel-toed. Not sure how that's allowed, but again, who would tell Big Texas otherwise? You have to be a fool. So Ash going to have to be careful not get knocked upside the head like Pete Jones did last Shockwave. Avoid that kick at all costs. Oh, nice reverse DDT there. And Big Texas, look at that chest. Ash going to get caught, dragged into the corner. Not where he's looking to be. Big Texas is all over him. Woo! Lucha! Well-traveled man is Big Texas. Don't let the name fool you. He's been all around the world. He's competed against the best. He's trained with the very best. I might even say he's the best luchador in all of CMV. Alan Wagner, who? I never heard of him. And gouging at the eyes, not afraid, obviously, to get a little bit dirty if necessary. In complete control right now is Big Texas. That's bad news for Ash. Look at them punches. Ash is tough. Just one of those punches would be enough to take down a normal man. But into the pin, Big Texas unable to seal the deal quite so easily as Ash kicks out, but I don't think Texas is done. Ash is, though. Nice count. Bam, chopping that man up. Woo! Texas going to fire right back at him with the jawbreaker and a kick to the gut. Cheeky jab, big overhand. And another backbreaker into the Hangman's neckbreaker combination. Go all the way to the top. Big Texas could be looking to drop a big elbow. But Ash did his homework. He knew it was coming and able to avoid it. He just throws Texas down to the floor now. I'm going to take a second. Here is the newcomer to center himself before Texas gets back into the ring. Ooh, big punches. Damn. Beating the hell out of each other. Becoming a little bit of a slugfest, but Ash can get the better of Texas. That's pretty impressive considering Big Texas, a 10-time bare-knuckle brawler champion. Texas, I think, might be looking to walk out of here. He's got a very important appointment. He's going to walk out of this matchup. But Pete Jones, where did he come from? Well, he's not going to let it happen. He's just thrown Big Texas back into the ring. Well, Texas is going to be made to compete, then so be it. But Ash going to capitalize, or at least attempt to, on that little bit of help from Pete Jones. I guess that's why you don't disrespect Pete Jones. Put some respect on his name. Big Texas should have last Shockwave, I suppose. Well, Ash would have won the matchup by countout. Now this bout resumes. We have Pete Jones to thank for it. Huda Kenarana in the blue jeans, mind you. I feel like that also should have been a disqualification. Pete Jones didn't just throw him back into the ring. That might, you could be lenient with that. He punched Big Texas pretty blatantly. And the referee was watching, so I'm not entirely sure how that wasn't a disqualification. Big Texas should have won. We'll have to bring that up with the lawyers, but, well, Texas might just win on his own anyhow. Ash has been busted open. And holding that steel-toe boot up to Ash's throat. Careful not to get disqualified. Obviously, this ref doesn't give a damn. I guess this is a no DQ matchup. Ash can get the upper hand again. Fisherman's driver and a bridge. Try and knock Big Texas off here, but a kick out at one. Looks like Ash has got himself a gash right above his right eyebrow as he sends Texas into the corner. Might require some stitches looking at that. It looks deep. Oh, but a kick to the gut gets caught. DDT from Big Bad Texas. And, oh, despite the help from Pete Jones, looks like Ash might still be in deep water. A little bit of reversal fest going on between these two. Counter for counter. Oh, but there's the Adam Valentine pop-up cutter. And here it comes! Steel-toed boot! Right upside the head. Good night to you. Another victim claimed. 1, 2. Ash has got himself a thick noggin. That steel-toed boot nearly caved his stolen, but kicks out, does this kid. Oh, poke to the eyes. Ash might be blinded, but he's still able to fight back as he drags Texas over to the ropes. He's lucky to still have his head attached to his shoulders. I think that poke to the eyes might have had a worse effect than we thought. It's just wild. He's able to hit that inverted Frankensteiner. There you go. And now out of the corner with a super kick. Big Texas seeing some stars. And Ash not done. This Jaeger bomb into the pin. 1, 2. 2.999. Frustrated is Ash, but stays on task. Picks Texas right back up. Continues laying it on him. Double unhook DDT, but look at Texas. This is only his third match here in CMV. Already has the wherewithal to get himself out of the ring, but it just set him up for a disgusting monumental moonsault from the top all the way down to the floor. Yeah, no refuge at ringside, Big Texas just found out. Look at these forearms to the back of the head. It is all Ash now. He's going into that corner again, maybe looking for his own kick to the side of the head, or what? A knee! Right between the eyes. Big Texas has been busted open, I think. Really tough in this angle. Emerald! Collusion, but the Dangerous Queen's Revenge. The biggest Ricky Delaney fan, but it still cannot keep Big Texas down. I'm seeing Ash begin to get more and more frustrated. Here's a standing corkscrew senton. Showing off his athleticism is Ash. Oh, maybe another Jaeger bomb. Or maybe not. Regular power bomb. Nothing to sneeze at as he goes for the pin again. Big Texas kicks out. And you see Ash, don't get in your own head, kid. You're in the driver's seat right now. Gotta keep it that way. Another standing corkscrew senton. His blood trickles down his face. Ash gonna take to the air. Big risk, but it pays off with that European uppercut. What's he gonna have to do to keep Big Texas down? Well, he's coming unleashed! Out of the corner with that Psycho knee. 1, 2, 3, and Ash picks up the win here in his debut, toppling Big Texas. And like I said, that is a life achievement right there. But of course, there must be a little bit of an asterisk with the help of Pete Jones. And again, it should have been a disqualification, right? If we're playing by the rules. If Ash were an honest man, he would surely even say himself, Pete Jones clearly put hands on Big Texas. Well, the referee showed a bit of leniency, and Ash made the most of it. I think we should put Ash in the CMV Hall of Fame after a win like that. Where do you go? There's no up. There's nothing above beating Big Texas. But here's what did it set up with that gorgeous springboard European uppercut, and then this Psycho knee coming out of the corner. And yeah, Big Texas might have had a broken nose from the looks of it there. Well, welcome Ash to CMV. Great matchup there and a great win. Although Pete Jones made it very clear that things between he and Big Texas are certainly far from over. I don't know why you'd want to get on the bad side of a menace like Big Texas, but to each his own. And coming up next, it's already a very good night to be a regulator What with Aaron Stone back in control after his victory over Emmett Jones a bit earlier. So Thea, I would have to guess, is going to come out here with a smile on her face, but that smile might be turned upside down because, well, our television champion about to go one-on-one with Sarah Miller. Thea, who on social media this past week urged Sarah Miller not to bring, be it Vanessa Morgan or Alice Blake, didn't want anybody at ringside, told Sarah Miller, look, I respect you as a competitor. Let's have a good match. Prove that you deserve a shot at my television championship by beating me clean. And we'll find out if Sarah Miller is going to honor that request or not. But obviously, Thea's days as television champion might be coming to an end because with the likes of Vanessa Morgan breathing down her throat. Look, this is no disrespect to Thea, but Morgan's on another level, as we have seen these past couple months, undefeated. And that includes a win against Thea. It was by countout, but there are many who would tell you that's a legit way to win. Of course, Vanessa Morgan wouldn't be able to win the championship by countout. Have to pin or submit Thea, but, well, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. It's not Vanessa Morgan across the ring from Thea here. It's the former Zero-G champion, a former women's tag team champion, the powerhouse Pixie, Sarah Miller, and indeed, I do not see Vanessa Morgan. I do not see Alice Blake. It looks as though Miller is going to do this straight up. So Thea, again, has to be happy about that. Well, it might just be a case of Alice Blake, who we saw earlier at ringside, watching as her validation and challenger, Ruby Rattell, knocked off Delilah Sin. Alice Blake could be in the back right now checking on Sin. And she got busted open pretty badly in that matchup. So, but where's Vanessa Morgan is the primary question. I haven't seen her so far. I didn't see her backstage earlier. But for someone so massive, Morgan has proved to be able to pop out of nowhere. She did it on Octane when she laid out Alexia Diamond, put her on the shelf. So at least for now, it looks like we're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned, straight-up, non-title matchup between Sarah Miller and Thea. Two incredibly powerful women. Maybe the two top powerhouses in our women's division, meeting for the first time ever one-on-one here. And while Vanessa Morgan wants a shot at the television championship, indeed Miller with a win here could see herself set up as #1 contender. I mean, so long as more gold comes to Pat's LaFaves, I'm sure they won't really care who gets the shot, who takes the television championship, so long as it's taken. And Thea, the longest reigning television champion of all time. That's an accolade, but of course, she's only the fourth television champion. Always takes a minute. Vintage dashing memory. But still, look at the list. Celestia, the very first ever television champion. Then it went to Gianna. And then, of course, Sophia E. Faith. Thea's now been champion, I believe, over... Gotta be 80 days closing it on, maybe? Somewhere around there. Oh, and spear! Out of the corner. I might be way off. We need the statisticians in the chat once again to let me know. Yeah, 3 months, so about. Maybe 90 days. But those days could be numbered. With Pat LaFave's gunning after. Look at these big punches across the chest. It's going to knock Miller all the way down to the floor. Spreads them legs now for a headbutt to the midsection. Now, this isn't a championship match. Straight up one-on-one. Referee begins his count, but Thea going to throw Sarah Miller down onto the floor further away from the ring. Thea has been vocal ever since she first arrived here in CMV about not being a fan of countouts. We're back. Oh! Hey! Now there's Vanessa Morgan will wonder where the hell she was, and it looks like Pat's LaFaves are not going to play fair here tonight. Morgan with the distraction allows Miller to lay Thea out. The powerhouse Pixie takes control, but maybe not for long. This has just pissed the fiery Frenchwoman off. Keen was she on having a good matchup here. But obviously, Pat's LaFaves, they dug the hole, they covered it with leaves, and they were looking to have Thea walk right in. The television champion caught off guard, but now she's trying to battle her way back. Elbow drop to the heart of Miller and into the pin, but just as quickly as Morgan appeared, she has gone up the ramp to the back. Gonna join Alice Blake wherever she might be right now. As Miller gets grabbed by the back of the head and up against the ropes. Wasn't able to make very good use of that distraction from Vanessa Morgan. Hurricane Rana, though, from the former Zero-G champion. And double knees to the gut. Why not one more time? Thea gets to her feet. Well, it's a good thing that the regulators are being put back together, because Thea might need the backup. Obviously outnumbered here against Pat's LaFaves, as we just saw back suplex on the apron. Tries for a quick knee, but Thea's able to see that coming and lays Miller out with a clothesline. I feel like one of those drama shows. I kind of want to find out what Emmett Jones and Sophia E. Fate might be saying to each other right now. Get that security cam footage, little creep and peep after what we saw go down a bit earlier. Is that relationship coming to an end? Right now, Sarah Miller, her jaw might have just been cracked with that fireball, and Thea gonna break the count. Okay, I was gonna say for a minute there, she deliberately wins by count out. Oh no! Vintage Thea was trying for that diving shoulder tackle, but got caught and slammed down onto the floor. That was gross. But now back into the ring. Miller's going to wait patiently. Pixie Plex to the television champion. 1, 2, but a kick out. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember the last time Thea was pinned. Her last loss one-on-one was to Vanessa Morgan, but that was by count out. I'm trying to remember the last time Thea's been pinned in a one-on-one matchup. It has to be. I'm not too sure. Maybe before Ascendance, even. Because Miller nearly had her done in right there. Uh-oh, 5-knuckle shuffle. That's vintage Sarah Miller. Right between the eyes of the television champion. Tries for that knee again. Oh, out of nowhere! Fire starter takes Miller down, but for the count, no. 2.5 only. You see Thea, as soon as she gets herself back in the driver's seat. No beat around the bush. Military press. And now maybe shades of Aaron Stone with a spear, another one. But Miller says one is just enough. Ooh, Miller looks like she got shot in the head, point blank range. Right in the middle of her forehead, just blood streaming down her face. I'm going to assume that was from the fire starter. I didn't see that until just now. Oh, but now look at this. Miller getting a bit cheeky with the insult to injury, as they say. Back into the ring. Well, Pat's LaFaves are not going to play fair, obviously. I hope Thea understands that now. Going to try to adapt. Look at this trap between the legs. There's a lot of people who would pay good money for that. Into the pin. At least it's not Joey Bacon. You got to count your blessings. Off the ropes. Thea going to drop down. Leapfrog, making Miller... trying to make Miller exhaust whatever energy she's got left. Good combination by the champion. Falcon Arrow. And off the ropes. Whoa, watch out, ref. Big splash. got a lot of momentum behind that one. As Thea hoists up Miller for a running power slam, guys. Still to come this evening, our main event. You don't want to go anywhere. Cam Harris, one-on-one with Schmidty. Look at the headline, any given special event. I wouldn't look twice if it headlined an Ascendance, and we're getting it right here in our main event this evening. As Thea going to try again for that spear out of the corner this time. Cuts Miller almost clean in half. Oh, so our French statistician coming to my rescue here. So October 25th to Destiny Monroe was the last time Thea was defeated clean in a singles matchup. So that's impressive. 4 months. Thea has gone unpinned one-on-one. And Miller's looking to end that streak though. Oh, and she just might do it too. Crunchy on the floor. We might have jinxed it. We may have jinxed it, ladies and gentlemen. Back into the ring. And the powerhouse Pixie now just taking her time. No rush. I think she knows this one's over. Into the pin. 1, 2. But the toughness of Thea is something that's not up for debate. It's proven fact here in CMV, but where is Miller taking her now? I think Miller knows it's going to take something big to keep the television champion down. So go big, baby! The biggest, a super Pixie Plex! From the top. 1, 2, and Thea kicks out! Sarah Miller, the veteran that she is, no hesitation, right back to work. But my God, how the hell did this kick out of a super Pixie Plex? Rolling neck snap. Well, her kicking out not going to do much if she can't figure out a way to get back into this matchup. Miller is all over her like white on rice. Stabbing knee to the middle of the back. Yeah, that lower back has definitely become the primary target. And now look, a bow and arrow. I don't think I've ever seen a bow and arrow so efficiently used before. All the damage done to the lower back. But Thea gets out of it barely. A little tadpole splash there. Fireball! Digs down deep. Oh, but look at Thea now. Stomping her feet. She's geeked. Thea's geeked. Where's she? What the hell? Fire starter! A flying fire starter! 1, 2, and Miller kicks out! What a match! These two are out here putting on a barn burner. I'm sorry. Sarah Miller just kicked out of essentially a super fire starter after Thea, just a few minutes ago, kicked out of a super Pixie Plex. I mean, they are lobbing bricks at each other and still standing. Back into the ring, Thea going to resort to the spear. A third spear. As Miller's entire face almost at this point. Oh, are we going to go vintage Thea? With that body splash, he has won matches with that before. Will it finally be enough to keep Miller down here? 1, 2. And now you got to imagine the fiery Frenchwoman is starting to think, after going unpinned one-on-one for 4 months, you might start getting a bit cocky, but now Thea's got to be saying, what do I got to do? I mean, Thea has literally all of her biggest, best shots have been sent at Miller in this one, and it's not been enough. Look, here comes Miller with some elbows to the midsection. Powerhouse Pixie. I thought she was about to hit a fire starter right there for a second. Oh my God. Yeah, take that salt, rub it in the wound. Thea getting a lot more up close and personal than I imagine she ever wanted to with Sarah Miller there. Now going to go for a ride as Thea monkey flip launches her overhead. But Thea, great ring awareness, able to quickly get herself out of the apron. Look how Miller, though, stays on top of her, knocks her down to the outside. Oh, and vintage Sarah Miller, those stiff kicks to the chest. Look at Thea's chest. Look at Thea's chest. Bruising before our very eyes. And now right into the side of the steel steps, too. Just throwing Thea all over the ringside area. The referee's only on a count of 2, and Miller doesn't appear to be in any sort of rush. Wheelbarrow neck breaker on the floor. Miller maybe looking for a count-out win. Well, this is going to reset the count. She goes to the top rope. What in God's name is Sarah Miller looking for here? Oh, drop kick. That might have... Lucky she didn't knock herself out on that landing. Lifting reverse DDT. I think Thea's out. I think Thea is out cold. And Miller, though, is just having a little bit of extra fun. Can Thea wake up, guys? It looks as though Miller would be fine taking a count-out win. Wake up, Thea. I don't know if she can. Oh, Miller gets impatient. She just reset the count again. Miller could have... Oh, God! Oh, no! Going for the Pixie-plex. Thea counters, though. I think that might have actually woken her up, getting her head slammed off the steel barricade. And now back into the ring. Sarah Miller tries to strike fast, but Thea's faster. Where are we going up top? Wait a minute! No. This is super! From the top! Fire starter! By the gods above, 1, 2, what? Sarah Miller just kicked out of a fire starter from off the top rope, brother. Sarah Miller, oh, where's Thea going? Another big splash, baby! Yes! But doesn't go for the pin this time. No, Thea says, all right, this how we're gonna do it? This how we're gonna do it? How about just a sit-up powerbomb? Miller just immediately begins to crawl into the corner. Oh boy, I don't know if you want to pick yourself up there. Thea might go for it again. Miller, though, turns her around. Pixie-plex! What? Thea just gets right back up! What the fuck? Thea just shrugged off that Pixie-plex like it was nothing! But now slammed down, middle of the ring, Sarah Miller! Has just ended the months-long one-on-one winning streak of the television champion. My word, what a match. And that might be the most clear example of pure instincts we have ever seen here in CMV, because he just got right back up after getting hit with that Pixie-plex. And it had to be nothing more than just primal instinct, because Sarah Miller was like, what the fuck? And just slammed her down and pinned her for the win. This might be match of the year contender. Forget about night. What a match. Top rope Pixie-plex, top rope fire starter. Look at this! I need them to study Sarah Miller and find out how she kicked out of this. And then dug down deep in Miller after eating this second body splash from off the top. Maybe if Thea went for the pin right there, but she got a bit overzealous and again hit the Pixie-plex. Thea just got right back up. only to be put straight back down for the win. And this is big for Pat LaFave's, big for Sarah Miller. Sign me up to see these two go at it again. But Thea learned a very harsh lesson in this matchup, if nothing else. Pat LaFave's are not going to play by her rules. And she better get wise if she wants to keep that television championship of hers. Well, up next, my friends, in the ring, ready to get it on, Precious Pratt and Isabella Almas. But, okay, it looks as though we've got ourselves a ringside spectator for this matchup here. That's the LTB TKO World Champion. Mirabel Duarte has parked a seat seemingly in the corner of Precious Pratt here. As Pratt and Almas, no strangers to one another, but Almas looking at this as a fresh start after her failure to take the Women's World Championship from Alice Blake back at Mob Violence. She's got herself some new digs, new outlook. I'm not going to try to let Precious Pratt stand in her way. Isabella Almas has never allowed Precious Pratt to stand in her way. Last time these two met one-on-one was over a year ago, the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament, where with a little bit of help from a mystery photographer, right, blinded Precious Pratt, allowed Almas to win and become Queen of the Ring. So I'm sure that's something Pratt hasn't forgotten about. Let's be on the lookout for any suspicious photographers potentially in attendance here. Isabel Almas trying to pull that off again. But now with Duarte at ringside taking an interest in these two. It looks to me like especially Precious Pratt, though. And Duarte did just take off that top turnbuckle cover, FYI. And a back body drop by the Queen of Our Hearts, who's looking to build her way back up to another Women's World Championship opportunity. Maybe be the one waiting for either Ruby Rattel or Alice Blake post-validation. But again, with the draft coming up, where will Almas fall on Shockwave or Octane? Shot from Pratt, who at Mob Violence had one of the stronger performances in the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Obviously the strongest. No doubt about it goes to Anna Simmons, but I think I would put Pratt in second. She not only lasted quite a long time, but got a good few eliminations too. She eliminated all of Pat LaFave's in that matchup, single-handedly. And now look at Duarte just threw a steel chair into the ring. Referee looks to be getting a bit fed up. He sees the exposed turnbuckle too, as Almas hits a gorgeous fisherman's neckbreaker. But now grab on the back of it and dragged into the corner. And guys, if you think that this episode of Shockwave so far might in any way be violent, you aren't ready for Octane this weekend, because we've not only got the third ever ambulance match in CMV history as Ahmed looks to permanently retire Top Susan, but also War Games returns to CMV as the Hallowed will go to war against the team of Kerry Yamashita, Jack Taylor, Lorenzo Alexander, and the Intercontinental Champion Remy Martin. Still to come this evening, We've got Andrew Briggs and Jeremy Barmore in a Team Shockwave qualifying matchup, as well as our main event. Harris and Schmidty one-on-one. Don't want to miss that. If there's any match that could be even better than what we just saw between Miller and Thea, it's going to be Harris and Schmidty. There's the F5 right in front of Mirabel Duarte, who doesn't even look, though. As Pratt's able to kick out at 2.5 anyhow. Uh-oh, Pratt's going to roll to ringside, but Isabella almost refusing to let her go too far. What the? She even looking for there? I'm sorry. I don't know what Isabella almost was thinking was going to happen with that. I couldn't even tell you what she might have been trying to set up for there. But, oh, now look at this. They're both eliminated from the Royal Rumble matchup. I shouldn't say Royal Rumble during an Isabella Almas matchup. It's quite a trigger for her. Obviously losing her Women's World Championship in a Rumble. Mirabel Duarte is watching, but she's keeping her distance. The LGBTKO World Champion, of course, made her debut in the Women's Royal Rumble match at Raw Violence, and the last Shockwave had quite the humdinger and a half with Brina Story in the main event. But what is her interest exactly in Precious Pratt remains to be seen as Pratt throws Almas back into the ring. A former Women's Tag Team Champion. I think it's safe to say at this point, Pratt might be on my Mount Rushmore. You know, for years we talked about the Mount Rushmore of CMV superstars who have never won a world championship. You know, Pierre Thompson was on there for the longest time. I think if we had a women's, Precious Pratt would probably be number one for me. Not even just women's world champion, a singles champion, period. Perhaps this win over Isabel almost could be the building blocks toward an opportunity to finally make that a reality. Oh, back body drop. This Mirabel Duarte again has taken off that top turnbuckle cover over there. Almost puts down Pratt hard with that power slam. Slowly picks her up, but an elbow to the midsection. And now an Irish whip into that exposed turnbuckle. Little bit of help from Mirabel Duarte trying to show Owen O'Rourke and Brian Dynamic how it's done. Almost is able to kick out. No, again, ref! How is the referee not seeing this? Oh, we need to get some better vision plans for our officials here in CMV, I think. Some glasses, maybe. I don't know. Well, Pratt's got a considerable upper hand now. Oh, now he sees it. Yeah, after Pratt uses it twice. Thank you, ref. Blows right by her. Damn! Talk about getting yeeted. Hunter Quinn's got some competition. Come on, man. Oh, no, almost. I love it, but not the time. Taken down at the back of the knee. And Pratt now with that mandible claw. Gonna try to suffocate Isabella Almas. Kicked out by the Queen of Our Hearts. And a jawbreaker allows her to at least create that opening, even if slightly an STO. With a whole lot of oof behind it there. And vintage Pratt. That choke bomb. Match one right there, but headbutt across the chest is the little cherry on top. And even still, Pratt's not going for the pin as she's going to ensure the job is done. It never gets any less creepy. And over a year in the making, payback for Precious Pratt as she stalks Isabella Almas. And looking for that poisoned kiss goodnight. Into the pin. Make that an uno, dos, no. Tres, Cofer. But there isn't even a hint of hesitation as Pratt goes straight to the top rope for a coffin drop. I don't know what Almas can do. I don't know if there's anything that she can do at this point, because Precious Pratt is unhinged. But Mirabel Duarte being at ringside has almost possessed her. Oh, look at this choke. Rear naked choke is now applied by Precious Pratt. Body scissors and all. And the former Women's World Champion does get out of it. But that doesn't mean she's out of the woods just yet. Elbows here to the side of the head by Precious Pratt. Gonna stun Isabella Almas. Big knife edge shot. Big right hook. Setting her up. Irish whip to the quarter right in front of the LGBTKO World Champion. Elbow to the side of the head by Almas. A quick roll up. No, not going for the pin. Instead, a sit out powerbomb. Now into the... What the fuck? Oh, now Almas could have had it won there. But Mirabel Duarte just yanked the referee out of the ring as he was about to go for the pin. How does that not cause an ejection? Are you kidding me? Mirabel Duarte just put her hands on the official and that still doesn't get her ejected? What kind of malarkey is this? And now Pratt, thanks to the hoopla, has almost caught again. The poison kiss goodnight a second time. One, two. But God damn. That's why she is the queen of our hearts, Isabella Almas. Whoa, 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 okay. Well, I don't necessarily blame you, Precious Pratt, but wholly uncalled for. A little mid-match snack. Thanks to Mirabel Duarte, though, this is becoming almost entirely one-sided shellacking. And Pratt's just having herself a good old time. Almost not so much. Gets yanked up. Michinoku driver. Ring awareness by the veteran. No clean ring entry, though, as Pratt is all over that peanut butter on jelly as she gets back into the ring. And Duarte the whole time cheering her on. Well, we were confused at first what Duarte was doing out here, but it's very clear now that she is behind Precious Pratt, who misses horribly that top rope crossbody attempt. Spear! Nasty spear from Pratt, who goes after those ribs with some knees now. Nowhere that Almas can go. Another quick little snack break, as this time Precious Pratt tries to chomp off a finger. Anaconda Vice! Anaconda Vice gets cinched in very suddenly in the middle of the ring. Almas, though, does not tap out, but, well, she didn't get out of it. Precious Pratt releases the hold, and God, well, the old saying goes, as we all know, the third time's the charm. And Isabella Almas, like the fly in the spider's web, a third poison kiss good night. And even Almas not going to be able to kick out of that, surely. 1, 2, 3. Precious Pratt. Over a year in the making. She looked for that revenge, and tonight it's hers. With some considerable help, though, from Mirabel Duarte. I mean, Almas had the match won at one point, and Duarte straight up pulled the ref out of the ring to stop him from counting the 3. But for Precious Pratt, guys, this is a big notch in her belt to knock off a former Women's World Champion. But again, what exactly is this relationship we might be seeing blossom between Pratt and Duarte? Because if not for Duarte, I don't know if this would have been the results. I don't think the fresh start that Isabella Almas was looking for. But Precious Pratt, on the other hand, after her performance in the Women's Royal Rumble match and then this win here, I'd say that things are looking up. And especially if she's got Mirabel Duarte watching her back. And into our tertiary main event we now go, my fine feathered friends, here on Shockwave number 154. Still to come, Xander Slate in action, as well as our main event, Cam Harris of the Second Estate taking on the Men's Royal Rumble match winner, Schmidty. First, though, we're going to find out who else will be joining Team Shockwave at Validation as the True Fight champion. Jeremy Barmore gets set to take on Andrew Briggs in a qualifying matchup. And as I said earlier, making a legend like Andrew Briggs qualify for your team, much like Valentine did to Xander Slate last Shockwave, is a bit disrespectful, I think, and even to someone like Barmore. Okay, if Barmore and Briggs were on Octane, you can bet your ass they would have been on Team Octane without a second thought. But I will say either one of these guys will add a whole lot to Valentine's Team Shockwave. And it's no disrespect to Andrew Briggs, but I think for the sake of my boys, I would much rather have Briggs be on Team Shockwave than the workhorse Jeremy Barmore. I mean, they've already got Joey Bacon, okay? I don't know if the ring will be able to handle Joey Bacon and Jeremy Barmore. Andrew Briggs proved to absolutely everyone with his performance against Blake Virtue at Mob Violence, the CMV Championship on the line, that age is just a number. And he is not done yet, far from it. What a match that was. And Briggs isn't stopping just because of his failure in San Antonio. I know a lot of people, namely Blake Virtue, have been wondering, did Andrew Briggs have something to do with that mystery attacker who jumped Blake Virtue during his matchup with Grimm last Shockwave? Grimm, of course, denied having anything to do with it. So did Schmidty. Briggs has been silent. That's not what this match is about here, though. This is about who's going to Validation to represent Shockwave. So will it be the True Fight champion Jeremy Barmore, or will it be the benchmark Andrew Briggs? We're about to find out here. This is going to be age-old battle of power against speed and agility, and obviously not a good start for Andrew Briggs there, as Barmore just shrugs off that forearm smash attempt. Irish whip now, counter. I'll tell you this right now, again, I'm not one that shies away. I like to be honest. I like to be transparent. When it comes to the draft, Andrew Briggs is going to be up there for me. I've always been the #1 Andrew Briggs fan. I run AndrewBriggsFans.org. And after what we saw at Mob Violence, there's not a shadow of a doubt in my mind that Briggs could potentially become the world champion once again. He's not having very much luck against Barmore so far in this one. Oh man, look at it. Big old boot pressed against the throat of Andrew Briggs. pulled up out of the corner. And wasting no time abusing his superior size and strength to dominate the future Hall of Famer. The hell is he doing here? Oh, power slam from off the top. A bit of an overcomplicated setup, but devastating effect. My God, don't push back every time Briggs. Look at this. It's having no effect. What do they say in those old Pokemon games? No effect. It failed horribly. Try again, bozo. And Briggs, the veteran that he is, going to roll out of the ring and try and get himself a little bit of a breather, but no luck, it would seem. There we go, able to catch him, but just gets shoved back instantly. Briggs got to find out a way to try and chop this giant down. That's his only way I can imagine of getting the upper hand and being able to take Briggs out. For Briggs to take Barmore out, I should say. Barmore, who of course defeated Bruno Mercy to become True Fight champion. Stomp to the gut. Springboard moonsault. Spreads them legs, does the workhorse. I'm going to use that chrome dome of his like a battering ram. The midsection of Andrew Briggs now just yeets him overhead with a German suplex. God, man. Oh, I like that setup there. Another German suplex, deadlift German suplex there. Barmore, please respond. We got the shoulder claw doom. Not for all too long, though. Briggs able to escape that, but come on, Briggs. You're a crafty one. You always have been. Uh-oh, Death Valley driver. That's just the power, the unforgiving, unrelenting power of Jeremy Barmore. Rest in peace, Andrew Briggs. I think Briggs might have, was the referee counting slow there? What was that all about? Was a slow count for the ref? Briggs kicks out, but that's just going to prolong the beating. I was saying, I think Briggs might have preferred Adam Valentine just giving the spot on Team Shockwave to Barmore at this point. Fuck. Like it ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Ragdolling that man. A former CMV champion, mind you. Somebody got to come out here and help Andrew Briggs. God himself might have to come down because Barmore is beating the benchmark senseless. Again, we're going to see Briggs drop to the outside, but he's not going to find any help out there. Spun around and up onto the shoulders. A Samoan drop. As if things weren't already bad enough. How about getting your back broken on the floor? Don't count him out! Andrew Briggs with a reverse STO on the floor. And snap your fingers. Briggs could have this won. Hang on. Springboard knee to the side of the head. Gonna topple this big old boy and Briggs. DDT, nothing fancy. They're gonna be effective as he goes to the top. Vintage Briggs with the spiral tap. Just when it looks most dire, hook that tree trunk to the leg, baby. 1, 2. And a kick out at 2.5, and now it's Barmore, who just a couple minutes later is the one retreating. If only momentarily, but Briggs does not let up. Elbow to the side of the head. Well, let's hope that does not happen. That we don't get a double count out here, or a double disqualification potentially. I guess it'll be up to Adam Valentine to decide what he wants to do. It's 10 against 10 at validation, and obviously I'm having my own tough time around Octane. Who do I want the 10 to be to represent Octane? Valentine's trying to see who's more deserving of the spot. The crafty veteran managing to stay alive. From off the top, gonna put Barmore back down on the floor with that Hurricane Rana and a stomp to the back of the head. They won't teach you that in wrestling school, but Briggs was effective here. He's gonna come off the apron. Maybe, no, just being a bit cheeky, trolling, a little bit of trolling from Andrew Briggs, who now just waits patiently. He's trying to take a count-out win here. Barmore back in, though, and Briggs right on him. Another DDT. There's not much Briggs can do against someone the size of Barmore. He does get him into the corner. And that's the last place you want to be when you're against Andrew Briggs and hit that shining wizard of his. I thought that's what he was going for there for a second. How about the shift in this match, though? Barmore was wiping the canvas with Briggs. Now it's all Briggs. Frog splash from Brett Rope. Just gets himself a 1 count, though. Go back to the top. Another spiral tap. Might be coming. Yes! Second spiral tap. And if 1 ain't good enough, surely 2 will do the deed. No. Barmore's just too damn thick, man. Doesn't have as much of an effect as it would on any other opponent. Nice slam. Uh-oh. Barmore says, I hope you had your fun. That slam a second time. But you see Briggs dig down deep, deep as can be to kick out of that one. Nope, back to ringside we go now. Headbutt from the True Fight champion. That's got to be like getting an anvil smacked across your head, I would have to guess. Certainly seems like Andrew Briggs might have much of an idea where he is right now. Barmore stays on him with these punches to the side of the head. Who is going to join Team Shockwave at Validation? Briggs trying to pick himself up in the corner. Barmore just going to turn him around, though, and give him the old snake eyes. Just drops her to the pin. Not as easy as Barmore might have thought it would be. Another kick out by the benchmark. I think at this point, he's trying to keep his head above the water, and he avoids getting his head taken off with that leg drop there. Golly, man. German suplex. Barmore, though, egging Briggs on. He's got a little something for him. Ain't nothing good. Briggs knows it, though. Avoids it like the plague. Those punches to the top of the head. And a powerbomb was coming his way there. Oh, up out of the shoulders. He's taking no elbows. Briggs sets himself free again. What the hell is this? Beautiful. Sidewalk slam. And Briggs wasting 0 time. Big knee chomps down the workhorse. 1, 2, 3. Andrew Briggs is going to Validation. What the hell? Grim has just hit the ring, and he took out Briggs and Barmore in the blink of an eye. This psychopath, I guess, upset that he wasn't maybe considered for Team Shockwave, but the upset's pulled off by Andrew Briggs. He's going to Validation, or is he? As apparently he's now in the sights of the most hated man in professional wrestling today. Co-main event time it now is, my friends. Xander Slate is in the ring and ready to go. It's a rematch between himself and Bernie Rose. Well, I guess it's supposed to be Xander Slate, Bernie Rose one-on-one here, but Bernie Rose has just brought Alan Wagner out with him, and it seems as though the rug is being pulled out from the OG Dirty Heel here. I guess we're going to get a rematch from last Shockwave instead, and, well, Xander Slate looks none too pleased about this at all, but the match is on. Xander Slate, Alan Wagner, who of course met last Shockwave. Xander Slate defeating Wagner in order to qualify for Team Shockwave at Validation. And then after the matchup, well, unnecessary stomping on the Luchador. I wonder if Bernie Rose may have approached Alan Wagner and offered him up this opportunity, or if Wagner came to Rose and said, look, I know you want to get your hands on Slate, but I'm fiending after that disrespect shown by the Hall of Famer last Shockwave. Nonetheless, this is the fact of the matter. Xander Slate, Wagner rematch, and Wagner given the opportunity to get his win back against the former world champion, but despite Slate being caught off guard, upper hand right now, and Bernie Rose is sticking around, and there's Slate again going after the mask. We saw him do this continuously throughout their matchup last Shockwave. May have been what contributed to Wagner taking the loss. Obviously, a mask means everything to a luchador. It's above all else. That's your honor. And Slate doesn't give a damn. He knows that. That's why he's trying to take it off. And Bernie Rose on the receiving end of Slate's viciousness in recent weeks. He's been put through a table not once but twice by the Hall of Famer. Well, this is our co-main event, even though it wasn't supposed to be. Coming up next, guys, Harris and Schmidty one-on-one in a matchup that you do not want to miss. Slate taking a cheap shot, unsurprising, maybe the least surprising thing of all time. Maybe Wagner was a bit overzealous, trying to fire back at Slate here, maybe not. He's heated, and understandably so, but that's what Slate does best. That's the thing, that's what he wants. He wants to get under your skin. Slate said he was feeling disrespected, that he's spending his last couple of months here in CMV fighting the likes of Alan Wagner, of Bernie Rose. While meanwhile, his best friend Shay Hodgson is out having Instant Classics headlining special events, World Championship opportunities. Slate telling Adam Valentine, like, what is this all about? And what did Valentine do? He said, hey, I'll let you qualify for Team Shockwave. And Slate did it too. I don't think Valentine thought he would. And I'm sure that post-match stopping was more a message to Valentine than it was anything to do with Wagner. But obviously Wagner's going to take it personally. Greco-Roman throat hold there by Slate, who's coming out of the corner with an attempted super kick. And we now know, after the events of this evening, that both Andrew Briggs and Aaron Stone will join Team Shockwave at Validation. Still some spots left for Adam Valentine to fill, but again, I say, quite a team he's put together, and I'm eager to see how they match up against my boys at Validation. Oh, Slate going up top. Leg drop from Slate's age. Pulling off a move like that is very dangerous, even if you do it successfully like he just did. Landing wrong in your tailbone. His career could be over a bit earlier than intended. And indeed, Slate retires at the end of this season, as does Shay Hodgson. They walk off into the sunset together. There's still a lot that Slate says he wants to accomplish, and as he's slumming it up with bums like Alan Wagner. We know Wagner didn't take that lightly. He was very upset about that. Sent some shots back at Slate himself. La Maestra attempted. Slate kicks out though. Schoolboy, but not going for the pin. There's the power of Wagner as he just tosses Slate overhead, and Slate hears that howl. He's trying to get the hell out of Dodge. Wagner is on him. Like a monkey on a cupcake, though, just walked right into that forearm smash. Back body drop. And Slate gets thrown right into the side of the steel barricade. Wagner, damn, European uppercut. The hell is he doing? Jesus! Wagner! What a swing! A swung Slate right into the steel barricade. Guys, referee's at the count of 9 now, and Alan Wagner is going to take the count-out win after destroying Slate at ringside. Well, even Wagner looked a bit upset as the referee counted to 10. I don't think Wagner meant to do that. I think he got carried away. Saw red, if you will, kind of lost it. And by the time he realized, he was able to make it back into the ring just in time to avoid this ending in a double count out. There you see, really count of 9. Alan Wagner picks up the win, albeit by count out, but I don't think things are over here by a long shot. Wagner looked like he was ready to rip Slate's head off. An absolutely phenomenal evening of action here on Shockwave number 154, my friends. And it's about to crescendo with what I can guarantee will be a banger and a half. Representing the Second Estate, Cam Harris going to be meeting the men's Royal Rumble match winner, Schmidty, mano a mano. Of course, it was at Mob Violence in San Antonio. Then it came down to Cam Harris and Schmidty in that men's Royal Rumble matchup. Well, obviously, Schmidty got the better of Harris in that encounter. And as we found out earlier this week, Schmidty making his decision official. He will challenge Blake Virtue for the CMV Championship in Los Angeles at Validation. And Harris, well, he was hoping that would be him, that he could take the CMV Championship from his former best friend. But the Game Changer had other plans. Now Harris hoping to loop back around, get his lick back, as the kids would say. What a determined Schmidty, fresh off of his unforgettable street fight with Shea Hoxton and Attack in Australia, and winning the men's Royal Rumble match at Mob Violence. Now looks to become CMV champion once again. It will have been, if Schmidty can defeat Blake Virtue of Validation, it will have been, let me do a little bit of dashing math here for a second. Right, Schmidty first won the CMV Championship at Ascendance 5. Right, defeated Paul Devine after Devine has just defeated the Bloody Brick Chris Andrews in the main event of Ascendance to win the CMV Championship. Schmidty came out and challenged him, beat him. So it will have been about 7 years between reigns as CMV champion, I should say, if Schmidty does indeed take the title from Blake Virtue in Los Angeles. The Sin City Savior, the Hall of Famer. They're connected through Shea Hoxton. And of course, Cam Harris is slated to be Hoxton's last ever opponent. That match is already in stone. They shook hands. They agreed to it. It will happen in Las Vegas, Nevada, the hometown of both men. At Final Stand will be Hoxton's retirement match. They still got a good while between now and then. And Cam Harris, the only thing on his mind currently is becoming CMV champion. So he missed out on the chance to realize that dream. He lost the Royal Rumble match to Schmidty, but maybe with this win here, he could be set up as #1 contender post-validation. He'll be waiting for either Schmidty or Blake Virtue to emerge as the champion. I think that's something Harris knows very well. Of course, he's got the Unified World Tag Team Champions, the Charm City Kings, Michael Carter and Brandon Ace in his corner. What a trio. They have been dominating Shockwave over the last couple of months. This one's going to be taken back into the ring before he potentially get 2 countouts in a row. Collar elbow time, 2 former world champions. Schmidty, of course, already in the Hall of Fame. Cam Harris undoubtedly will join him in there one day. Like I said, this is a matchup that could headline any given special event and you wouldn't think twice about it. We're getting it right here in our main event tonight. And Cam Harris is coming off a slew of big singles wins against Blake Virtue, against Troy Colt. Adding Schmidty to that list, I think it'll kind of be undeniable. Harris deserving of a CMV championship opportunity. Got the men's Royal Rumble match winner caught in a side headlock right now. He's looking to keep him. They look like wrenches on the neck of Schmidty. And you're not going anywhere, old boy. Able to shake him loose, though, as Schmidty dropped down quick. And a back elbow. Taking the Sin City Savior off his feet, even making Brandon Ace cringe a little bit there as he watches from ringside. Validation live from Los Angeles. Going to be in front of Blake Virtue's closest friends, his family. Schmidty says he's going to take that CMV championship from him. Don't matter if he has to kill him to do it. Oh, Brandon Ace up on the apron, though, getting involved, distracting Schmidty. And this going to give Cam Harris the chance to attempt to recover at least. He picks himself up in the corner, and Harris now, thanks to Ace there, with a shoulder breaker to the game changer. Oh, that's not where you want to be, Schmidty. He realizes it quick, gets back into the ring. But Harris going to put him in the corner. Well, Blake Virtue busy trying to figure out who the hell that mystery attacker was that jumped him during his match last Shockwave against Grimm. Schmidty said he had nothing to do with that. Grimm also denied being the one behind it, and Andrew Briggs, a prime suspect, but Virtue has no evidence to back up that claim. But I'm sure wherever he is right now, he's watching this one closely. I mean, his former best friend, one of his biggest rivals, and the man who he will be standing across the ring from in just a couple weeks at Validation, going one-on-one here in our main event at Shockwave number 154. Of course, last year at Validation, we had that historic triple threat match between Cam Harris, Blake Virtue, and Troy Colt for the CMV Championship. What a match that was. I mean, it lived up to the hype that was building for years. Virtue did not walk out of that match as CMV Champion. Colt did. But this year it'd be different for the Best Bout Machine. As we get another Adam Valentine pop-up cutter. Schmidty going to take Harris down into a rear naked choke. The Sin City Savior Not caught in it for too long. Think about a submission like that, though, is you don't need to be caught in it for too long. A few seconds and enough pressure, you're out. You don't need a tap. You don't got to worry about that. You're put to sleep. Springboard moonsault by Harris and drops into the pin with a hook of the leg. Kick out, though, at 2. Great combination. Cam Harris doesn't give a damn about what Schmidty's trying to do. Returning to CMV. Embarrassed at Ascendus, but making up for it, I'd say tenfold over these last couple of months. With his win against Shea Hodgson attacking Australia in his victory in the men's Royal Rumble match. Harris has aspirations of his own to bring the second estate to the very top and become CMV champion for the first time ever. A former global champion. Big knee. Right upside the head of the Game Changer. Shakes it off. Almost immediately, though, gets back to his feet. Harris going to send him back into the ring at the count of 8. Just keep finding myself getting distracted by the size of Michael Carter over there. Schmidty slammed face first on the top turnbuckle. Ooh, and that cut him. That gave him a cut right across his forehead. See, this is why Virtue's watching. As I'm sure that a part of him is hoping Harris, even though he wouldn't admit it, they're hoping that Harris can take some chunks out of Schmidty here, get the win. Junk up the momentum Schmidty's been building these last couple of months. And give Virtue the upper hand above all else at Validation. And Harris, the Destino, middle of the ring, well, perfectly there. But a kick out by the Hall of Famer. As he's able to keep his head above the water, but just barely. Ooh, he kicks his Harris there. Hang on. Rear naked choke is again applied. This time right in the middle of the ring, too. But Harris knows his way out of it. Schmidty going to have to come up with something else to try to take him down, because obviously Harris having none of that. Fisherman swinging neckbreaker. Harris going to go all the way to the top. Big C. With a moonsault. You can't really find a much better one than that. I dare you. I double dog dare you. Picture perfect for the kick out at 2. And Schmidty with blood smeared all over his face at this point. Able to get a boot up. That's going to stun Harris just long enough. Neckbreaker. And then he calls Schmidty the most dastardly man in all of CMV history, and I think you would be hard-pressed to disagree. Old school Schmidty. 1, 2. Harris now the one gasping for air, but Schmidty with another old school Schmidty. There's no wasting time. With the Game Changer, Harris still kicks out. And the fans, bloodthirsty, I guess, chanting one more time. They want the trifecta. So if you got all that boot right there, you're not going to find very many that can eat an old school Schmidty back to back and keep on fighting. Another quick pin attempt by Schmidty. Looking over at Michael Carter and Brandon Ace. They ain't going to help you. That kick to the head going to stun him. Ooh, big boot attempted by Harris. Another jumping neckbreaker by Schmidty. Now the #1 contender for the CMV Championship trying to come out of the corner, trying to bash the brains of Cam Harrison. Quick scissors pin. Harris not against trying to steal this one, but a kick out at 2. Keep Schmidty down as Michael Carter and Brandon Ace try to hype up these fans. Double tap him. Make sure he's dead. 1, 2. And if Cam Harris wins this matchup again, he knows that gotta line him up as #1 contender post-validation. And that'll be like hitting the jackpot. Can he do it? 1, 2. At least not yet. Look at Harris! Out of the corner, Destino! No! down quite spectacularly. And a neck breaker from the top rope. Holy shit. Onto the floor. I think I heard Harris's neck snap right there. Back into the ring at the behest of the Game Changer through bloodied eyes. And a message to Blake Virtue. This is what's waiting for you in Los Angeles at Validation. This is your doom. Not where Harris wants to be. Schmidty with the scoop slam. And we talk about Blake Virtue with the super knee party. Maybe Schmidty with an elbow. I thought he was going to go for a super old school Schmidty there for a second. But see, Schmidty, he's not flashy like a Blake Virtue. He gets the job done. And simple. 1, 2, 3. Blake Virtue, you bring your A game because Schmidty is surely bringing his. Third time's the charm for Schmidty. And now up next is Blake Virtue at Validation. Will Schmidty become CMV champion 7 years after the last time he held that championship? We find out in Los Angeles. But until next time, my friends, thank you for joining me as always. And I will see you when I see you.